What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining me. I'm Brandon Schaefer, and this is my fourth painting, I believe, in this Hawaii sketchbook from 2019. And I'm on Maui. I'm on the island of Maui. Really cool island. Actually, it's the only island I've ever been to in Hawaii. But it definitely fits my vibe, you know, pretty chill place. Pretty cool. So check it out. What I'm painting here, actually, I'm right on the edge of a wall here. If I were to move the camera up about just a foot, you know, like 1 or 2 feet in front of me is the ocean. So this is a really cool view. I'm currently painting the sky. And I use, for the sky, you know, I use really light value, some kind of ultramarine. Sometimes I mix it with a little viridian, just to kind of give it some kind of variety. And then towards the top of the sky, I'll add in more pure ultramarine blue. And you can see how light and kind of how gray the sky looks. And the reason I'm doing that is because, you know, the stronger blues in this scene, like when I look out in front of me, the much stronger, more vibrant, saturated color is the ocean. So I leave some room for the ocean to have stronger color, darker value. Because when we're doing a painting, sometimes you can't exactly match what's out in nature, what you're seeing. So you have to make the values work within the painting. So sometimes the sky has to be lighter or darker than it actually is, or, you know, what have you. Whatever the case may be. So what I'm painting here is I'm looking north mostly. And north of Maui is another island called Molokai. And that's what I'm currently painting right now. Today was, you know, this day that I was painting it was a really epic day. Usually there's a lot of clouds over this island. So this morning I went out first thing and there weren't very many clouds. So I was like, okay, this is perfect. Really cool view. You know, everything was really clear. So I was like, okay, I'm going to paint this island. And that island is about, I don't know, 12 or 15 miles away from where I am currently. So we got some nice distance there. And then what I'm painting now is the edge of Maui. More of the edge of, you know, there's some palm trees. And then all the way to the right, which we'll see here in a few minutes, there's some buildings and stuff on Front Street in Lahaina on Maui. So overall, it was just a really cool scene. I went out and saw this every day, every morning, and it was something I decided to capture. I tried to paint as many of the different islands that I could see from Maui as I could. And this is one of those paintings. So using a smaller round brush now, I'm putting in some suggestions of palm trees. And one thing I've gotten a lot better at, I think, is suggesting detail rather than painting what's actually there. I mean, sometimes I get caught up too much in what's actually in front of me rather than trying to capture a feeling or a suggestion. And I think this is one of the good paintings that I've done that has more of a suggestion of what's out there, trying to capture a feeling. I mean, obviously this is really out there. You know, I did do some measurements and stuff during the drawing stage so that I got the island in the distance correct and everything looking correct. And you can see this page of the sketchbook, I really did it more of a panorama. So there's more space, white space on the top and bottom. So this is a longer, skinnier type of painting than what I'm used to doing. So that's kind of cool. That's some cool feature of not taping your sketchbook, is that you can then use the page however you wish. And what I'm doing now is I'm suggesting some colors on these buildings, and I'm trying to use like a stronger color, some stronger colors for these buildings. And I'm being careful about drawing here because it's kind of the focal point, or really a secondary focal point to the island in the distance. But really this is like the darkest area of the painting, so it's going to attract your eye the most. So it's pretty much my focal point. You know, the island in the background, that's really just showing the setting of this. Like, okay, this is that island. But, you know, look at these trees and buildings over here. So I'm just putting down little abstract shapes and colors, bright colors, magentas, phthalo blue, things of that nature to really set the scene. To try to show like, hey, these are buildings back here. Okay, now I'm going in on the ocean with some stronger color. And these are more of the waves coming in. So as I said earlier, this is like first thing in the morning, probably 7 or 8 a.m. So what usually happens with the ocean, what I've took note of and realized, you know, first thing in the morning and in the evening, like sunset, the ocean, just the way the light's hitting the ocean, it'll tend to be much lighter. It starts, you know, really like midday, noon, when the sun is right above, that's when the ocean becomes super dark blue, like really vibrant blue. Okay, this is an important thing I'm doing right here. So this little crayon that I have is called Wax Resist. So my painting is currently dry. I made sure and checked that the paint was dry, that green that I'm coloring over. This Wax Resist is clear. So sometimes it's hard to see where I put it down because it's clear. So I drew that in some areas, and now I'm going to put this darker color over it. And what you'll see is this Wax Resist, it kind of resists that color that you're putting on. And what it does is it'll leave a little bit of texture. So I really want to start using it more in the future for getting some textures, tree textures, water textures. It was something I saw in a John Singer Sargent book that he used Wax Resist a lot on his watercolors. So I was like, I need to find some of that. And I'll put a link below down to some Wax Resist on Amazon in the comments section. But it's very subtle detail here. You know, it's a small painting and I only use it in a very small area. So hopefully in the future, you know, I'll find a use to really use it a lot. And you can put it down. It's a way to preserve white as well. If you have like a waterfall with, you know, something very white and textured, you can put it down before you start any of the painting and keep the white of the paper. But you will get some kind of texture over it, obviously. Or you can put a wash down, let it dry, as I did here. I did those green trees, let it dry, and then I colored over the green, and then now I have kind of that textured for when the darks go on top of it. So it's a really cool tool to use. It's something you want to have around if you're into that kind of texture. So I think it's pretty cool. Just adds a little variety to the painting. So yeah, now what I'm doing here is just adding a little variety of shadows and stuff. Getting close to the end here. I mean, bringing it to a finish. You know, I was really happy with how this painting came out, I think, this little sketch on Plein Air sketch. It's always cool when you capture something, you know, pretty much the way you had hoped it would come out. So I think this one is one of those paintings. You know, I'm just trying to put in very small details here with some rocks on the shoreline and stuff, really just bringing it to a finish. It's more a suggestion of detail, you know, it's not like super accurate detail or anything, but you know, just sometimes putting in those smaller things can just help bring it to a finish, give it a little more life. So anyway, there's the finished painting, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it helpful. And let me know down in the comments what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Take care of yourself. Peace, my friends.